some of the things that happened in this 49ers-Rams game. Let's start with the 49ers leading 17-14 in the fourth quarter. They had 3rd and 2 with 10:42 left. And, hey, Kyle Shanahan's the master of designing the intricate run plays, and we've seen him run all over the Rams defense. Rams defense had a level of physicality yesterday that I'm not accustomed to seeing against the 49ers, but Trent Williams in motion, the Kyle Juszczyk run, stoned on 3rd and 2, and it's easy to be critical of it because it didn't work, but that just seems like a long way to go for an inside handoff to a fullback. For 1 yard, they got nothing, but for 1 yard maybe, but when you got to go 2 yards, and the way Deebo Samuel runs the ball, I'm putting it in his hands on that play.
You know what? I know this is what we do. We kind of second guess stuff. I have no problem giving it to Juszczyk. We've seen him gain yards in the past. He's a strong runner. I honestly, and I'm sure everybody thought he was going to be a lead blocker. That's what they were hoping. But give the Rams credit. I mean, such an underrated guy, and Aaron Donald always talks about him as gains. What he does in the middle of that line, you know, the unheralded one of that defensive line. Give him credit for making a play. Again, I don't mind the play call, but as I've always said about game planning, playing, you know what? If you're on the O-line, make the block. Make the block. It gets down to execution, and Gaines just did a better job of beating his man coming across the face and not getting pushed, not getting driven down by a down block to make a play. So to me, I really don't have a problem giving Juszczyk a shot to get a couple of yards.
Next play, 4th and 2, they lined up like they were going to go for it. Obviously, we see that all the time where they try to get somebody to jump. Did you think they maybe should have gone for it in that spot, try to keep possession, keep the clock moving, get another score?
So there's ways to look at it, Mike, and one of them is, how is the game flow going? How many points did the Rams have at that point? You know, how much was their offense? This wasn't a prolific offensive scoring game, right? So if you feel they weren't scoring that much, and you pin them down and put it on your defense because your defense is kind of not let them put up a lot of points at that point in the game. You know, if it was a 35-31 game, you know, maybe you go for it because you're like, well, God, every offense is scoring at will. But it hadn't really been that way. So to me, a lot of it goes on, where are we in the game? What's been going on? How has your defense been playing? Have you been stopping them? What's the score? So do you want to give them the ball, you know, in really good field position, or do you want to pin them back? I'm always one of those, as I'm sitting there, or even when I was a player, I was always aggressive and say, you know, let's step on the throat. If you're on the offensive side, let's put the hammer down, let's get the first down. But there's a lot more that goes into that thought process, and all the things I just mentioned are some of those. So I can at least see the reasoning on why they punted it.
And Mike, when you said that, it reminded me of comments from Falcons defensive coordinator Dean Pease earlier this month when he said, as it relates to analytics, let's not get too caught up in it. Let's not just do what the computer tells us to do. When did the computer know what the weather was, whether it was raining, whether the wind was blowing, whether you were playing good on defense? They say, well, it's a 2-point game. Should you go for it on 4th down? Well, I don't know. Is it 42-40 or 6-3? It makes a difference. If they're playing great defense, don't. If they're playing lousy defense, yes. And that's, you know, that's to your point. The Rams were playing pretty good defense, and the Rams weren't playing great offense. So let's go ahead and put the ball back to him. And look what almost happened. A couple of plays later, Jaquiski Tartt has the ball in his hands.
Yep,
on
sure
the
does.
Matthew Stafford, set your clock to it.
Yeah.
You're going to get one of those every once in a while where the ball just pops up in the air and it's up for grabs. And it wouldn't have sealed the game. Tartt was too hard on himself to act like it would have sealed the game because there was still 9 minutes, nearly 10 minutes to go, and they were only up by 3. But that's what happened after the punt. So that validated the decision of the 49ers to punt in my mind.
How sick did he have to be, though, to drop that? I mean, that's one of those you don't forget for a long time. You really don't. I mean, right in his hands. I was stunned. I thought, oh, my God. You know, I thought exactly you. Well, this is what Stafford does every now and then. You know, there's going to be one that's up there for you to go ahead and get. So that was stunning to me. He dropped that. And I agree. He was a little too hard on himself. But that's a player, as I've always said, always. And ask any player, and I think you will get just about 100% agreement. They will always remember their bad plays over their good plays. And that one's going to stick in his mind for a long time.
And look, if you haven't seen it, 49ers.com has the press conferences from after the game. Jaquiski Tartt stood there, explained himself, was very raw, was very candid. He said, it was my moment of truth and I failed. He said, when the ball was in the air, I thought he effed up and we're going to win the game. And, he said all week long, didn't drop anything that came his way in practice, and that was his opportunity, and he failed to rise to the occasion, and he owned it in a way that I found stunning because, look, it's not like pre-pandemic where reporters are swarming the locker room. If he didn't want to go to the podium, no one was going to make him. Aaron Donald didn't go to the podium last night for the Rams. If Tart didn't want to go out there, who's going to drag him out there and say you must go speak to talk about your dropped interception that could have made a difference in the game? All right, last drive of the game. Once the Rams go up 20-17, I tweeted at the time, here's the game plan for Kyle Shanahan. Debo, Kittle, Debo, Kittle, Debo, Debo, Kittle. Ride your stars. Something Sims and I have been saying all year with the 49ers. It's Debo and it's Kittle. And here come the plays, and there's no Debo and there's no Kittle, and they're throwing the ball. And I know they had a decent way to go, but they had plenty of time. They could have run the ball a couple of times. You pop one for 20 yards or so, and you're in business. You're putting the ball in the hands of a guy that you can't trust because you gave up 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick to draft his replacement. It was just amazing to me that they put that drive in Jimmy Garoppolo's hands.
Yeah, that was not pretty at all, and certainly give the defensive line, especially for the Rams, a lot of credit for the pass rush that went on there. What's interesting, the Rams ended up with 0 sacks, I think, in that game. But you would know that if you watched it. They got to Garoppolo an awful lot. That's just why sometimes the amount of sacks you get doesn't really matter. It's the pressure you put on them. But I'm with you. I mean, who's not going to think those are the guys that are going to get the ball now, even though the defense thinks that as well. But the defense thinks that when Kupp is on the other side and he continues to get the ball, they find ways to get it to him. You find ways to get it to your guys. The little out patterns, aren't going to get you where you need to be. You did have time. You had time and you needed a field goal, right? So you had time. So you could have run it some because they were absolutely playing back. So I'm with you. It wasn't the best game planned, I guess, drive that we've seen in a while.
We also were going to criticize Sean McVay's failed challenges. But you know what? He won the game, so
right.
We're not going to. Actually, we're out of time.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.